Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the igniter switches. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get a wiring harness with 5 igniter switches already wired into it. The main reason you'd be changing out the igniter switches is that if one of the switches shorted out, it'll make the whole harness not work. In this particular model, they're all sold as one assembly. Other models may be individually, so you have to change them individually. In order to access underneath the cooktop, we have to remove all the grates and the burner heads. On this particular model, they just lift right off. Next, we have to remove the screws that hold the burner tube assemblies to the cooktop. Make sure you remove all the screws. Now that you have all your burner tubes disconnected from the cooktop, you can take a small screwdriver and stick it under each side and pry up. There's a little release clip. Then you can slowly lift up the cooktop, making sure that you don't pull at any wires or anything. Once you have everything disconnected from the top and it lifted up, you can use something to support it. It doesn't have a stand like a car hood or anything like that, so just use a piece of wood and support it so it stays up. In order to get the control panel off, we have to pull off all the knobs. They just pull straight off. To get the control panel off, we have to remove the screws. There's one on each end, and then there's 2 on the bottom. With the screws out, we can go ahead and pull the control panel off. These switches are held in by little locking tabs onto the valve, so you can put your hand around them and just pop them off. All the switches come off the same way. Make sure you do this to all 5 switches. So if we follow these red and black wires back, we see that they come to the back of the stove. The red one is plugged into the spark module, so we can pull that one off. And the black one is plugged in to this little connection right here, so we can pull that one apart. Just squeeze and pull. Once we have the wires disconnected, we can remove them from the 2 clips that hold them in place. Once we have them out, we can just pull them out the front of the stove. We already released the switches from the valves earlier, so they're just sitting here. So we just need to pull these off, and then we can put the new ones on. Here's the old switches next to the new switches. If you already have these, great. If not, you can get them at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you push these switches back on, these 3 tabs go on the top, and the large and the small one go on the bottom. And you may have to spin this little black center so that the D shape matches up with the shaft and goes on the valve. If it's not in the right position, you'll have to turn it with a small screwdriver. All you have to do is press it into place so it locks on the valve. All the igniter switches are going to be mounted the same way. Now that we have the switches mounted, we can run the wires back up to where they're going to go, making sure that we put them through the 2 clips that hold them in place. Now that we have the wires in place, we can reconnect the black one. And the red one goes to the spark module. Make sure you push that shield back down over the spark module. In order to put the control panel back on, we have to line it up with all the valve shafts, make sure they come through the holes, and then reinstall the screws that hold it down. With the control panel back on, we can put the knobs back on. They have flats on the knobs and the shafts. Just match them up and push them on. Now that we're done with the repair inside the cooktop, we can remove the wood block and lower the cooktop back down. All these burner tube assemblies have to be put back in place the same way. You're going to have to grab them with your hands and line up the holes so you can get at least one screw in, and then that will allow you to put the second screw in. Now that we have all the burner tube assemblies reattached to the stovetop, we can put back on the burners and the grates. When you set the burners down, make sure you don't damage the igniters. Now that you're done repairing your gas range, you can plug it back in and test it out. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.